Hey guys, what's up? It's WillMoto76 here, kicking off my new YouTube channel and updating my old one with a Let's Play Company of Heroes 2 video. The main purpose of this video that I'm making today is to just kind of explain the basic mechanics of the game and just show new players how to play and move around. So we're going to keep it pretty basic here today, but my ultimate goal is to build this channel up and upload more videos in the future where we get more in depth and start getting into strategies and more technical stuff. So anyways, we're going to go to an online match by selecting online and skirmish, and then I usually just do the auto match versus players option, and it'll automatically throw me into a match once it finds some other players. I'm going to opt in for a 3v3 or 4v4 match, so there's going to be a total of 6 to 8 players in this match. And just for today, I'm going to play as one of the base factions that come with the base game. So Red Army, Soviets. And before I jump into a game, let's just go over some of the basics. If you open up this little ammo box right here, it'll bring up everything that pertains to that faction. Uh, and you have several important things that build your faction. First off is commanders. This is basically the special ability tree that a lot of games have, and you can have 3 selectable commanders in your inventory, and these are the commanders that you'll be able to actually choose from and use while you're in game. So I've already got my 3 selected, but let's say I wanted to use sorry, I'm kind of picky on this. Let's say I want to use this commander instead of one of the ones I have selected up there. In order for this commander to be usable in game, he's got to be within my faction profile. So all you do to swap things out is you just click and drag and then put it where you want it, drop it, and now that commander is within my faction profile, and I'll be able to actually select him and use him in the game. So there's that, and in my later, more advanced videos, I'll go into commander logic and why I choose the ones that I do, and their different strengths and weaknesses. But for now, we'll just work with that. Intel bulletins. These are little perks that you get, and you only get 3 of these as well, but they're geared towards specific units, and they'll give that unit a little boost. This one I have selected here, for example, makes it so that my MG42 or my M1910 machine guns reload 10% faster. So if I spawn in a machine gun team, that's going to help them out just a little bit. This one, the IS-2 gains veterancy 10% faster. I'll explain veterancy once we're in a match. And then same for the T-3485. So Intel bulletins are just perks, basically. Skins, they're kind of pointless, to be completely honest, but if you want to get your vehicles all decorated and stuff, you can select different skins and click and drag them up, and that'll activate them as long as they're within your player profile. Face plates, that's just referring to this little thing that goes around your faction profile. That's what people see when you're joining a match. It's also kind of more for the decorative people, but it doesn't really have any functions, so I don't really do much with it. Victory strikes, again, kind of pointless, but fun if you're into graphics and stuff. This is selecting what you're going to have happen to the enemy base if you win the match. So like this one will have their base blow up with a nuke. This one will have artillery and airstrikes, bombard them. Same with these ones. They're all kind of different, but you can just choose whichever one you want, and it's just kind of to say haha at the end. So not really crucial. And then decals, these are just little stickers that they'll put on your vehicles. And I won some of these from special events, like the Hitler Rage face. That's kind of a fun one. So that's just something that they'll, decorative stuff. So the commanders and intel bulletins are what you should focus the most on. Everything else is just something to mess around with when you're bored. So anyways, let's enter a match. We'll just hit the start search button, and it's just going to keep searching for other players, looking for a 3v3 or 4v4 match, and then once it has enough of us, it'll send us into a game. So this is usually the time that I take when it's searching for a match to make new decisions about a different commander I want to try out, or maybe change up my strategy a little bit and change which intel bulletins I'm using. For example, if I wanted to spam the enemy with shock troops, I would choose my my shock troop perk cards. Or if I was going to focus on armor, I would choose my armor perk cards. So you just have to kind of make the best guess you can and choose a strategy that you want to push hard and run with that. And pretty straightforward. So here's our lineup. My team is at an advantage here, I can already tell you, because we have all three of the allied factions on my team, which means that we can play to the strengths of each one of those factions. They, on the other hand, there's two Axis factions. They only have Wehrmacht as their faction. They don't have any of the Oberkommando West players on their team, so they won't be able to spawn in some of the unique units that the Oberkommando West has. So so far, this is a good thing for my team. Soviets, which is who I'm playing as, is better for artillery, in my opinion. The British have some strengths of their own and some really cool armor. And the U.S. Definitely wins when it comes to infantry. So hopefully we can play those strengths out. So it's just starting the game. You're going to be here at your base, and it's going to give you your factions mechanics or builders, whatever you want to call them. Combat engineer squad in this instance. So the first thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and get some units on the map, some combat units. So from my main headquarters right here, we're going to go ahead and get some a conscript squad in production, and I'm going to take my combat engineer squad and build this building here, which is the Special Rifle Command. Now each one of these buildings that your riflemen can build will give you access to new units. This building will let you spawn in these units, this building will let you spawn in these units, and so forth. So you want to get those built up as soon as possible so that you have access to those units. But when you're starting out, you can only build the basic buildings and get the basic units because we don't have the resources yet. So right, I'm going to spawn in a sniper, and if you have a building selected, you can actually right click where you want it to send the units that it produces. So when this sniper is out of production, he's going to come over here, and then same here, if I built additional combat engineer squad or some conscripts, they would walk over here. So and that's how you can kind of control and keep track of your units better. All these circles these round circles that you see on the mini-map, these are called resource points. This is what generates your resources to actually bring units into the game. So you want to control as many of them as possible. There's unique resource points on the map, which only generate one kind of resource, but they generate more of that resource. For example, over here we've got this fuel point. It only generates fuel, but it generates more fuel than one of our traditional resource points. Now if you look up here in the top right corner, this is a quick overview of all of your units and what they're up to. If you'll notice on my conscript squad right here, they've got this orange reticule flashing. That means they're in active combat. And if we come over here, we see this to be true. I'm going to move them into cover so they get a small defense bonus. And that yellow exclamation or yellow warning sign just came up. That means they're at risk of being suppressed. Units can be suppressed by machine guns or mortars, and if you look at that, it just turned red. That means they're now suppressed. So I'm going to go ahead and retreat them and do my best to get them out of there before they get killed. You want to preserve your squads because over time throughout the game, as they make kills, they actually gain veterancy. And I'll come back to that later once I actually have some units that have veterancy. But for now, I'm just going to spawn in an additional sniper, and I'm going to upgrade my headquarters with medics. This feature is unique to the Soviets. Only the Soviet headquarters can have medics from the base headquarters that you start out with at the beginning of the game. It costs that many resource points, and any special feature you use or ability that you use, it'll show you how many resources it requires to use. So, something to keep in mind. If I use one of these, it unlocks special abilities on my conscript squads so that I can throw a Molotov cocktail or an anti-tank grenade. So that's just giving me more abilities with my specific conscript units. Now movement wise, if you right click anywhere on the screen directly in front of you, you can move troops around that way. You can also right click on any spot on the mini-map, and that will automatically send them moving towards that point. If you're not planning on keeping direct control of that unit, it's best to do an attack move, and you select any unit, be it armor or infantry, and it's going to have the attack move button on it. So you just left click on that, and then you left click where you want them to move to, and then they will move towards that location and attack any enemy units they see along the way. Now, using that Molotov cocktail special ability that I paid for at my headquarters, I just threw a Molotov cocktail, lit them on fire. That's nice to have. So always use your special abilities if you have the resources for them. And so yeah, but that's how you do an attack move. You just left click the attack move button and then move towards where you want to go. Now if you look, if you look here, you see this sign right here. That means there's mines around here. And this the sniper unit is a very expensive unit, so I probably don't want to walk any further. And it just got destroyed from a freaking mortar, so there goes a lot of resources. That was great. When a squad has lost members, but if it's still alive, you reinforce it by clicking the reinforce button as many times as you need for however many infantry you need to restore to that squad. So I've got all of my squad members restored, and I'm going to attack move them back towards that center point. And let's see, I'm going to choose this commander card. Again, in future videos, I'll go into more detail on how to choose a commander card, but we're going to just keep it really basic right now. So, one of the special abilities of this commander is I can spawn in these 120mm mortar squads. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn some of those in. And it looks like I just got enough resource points to also send in some shock troops. So I'm going to take those shock troops and I'm also going to attack move them towards that center point. Now with artillery, if you do an attack move, they will move towards that point, attacking any units along the way. So you have to be kind of careful with this so you're not sending them right into the lion's den. So I like to send them within range of the enemy. So probably back there at that fence would be a safe spot for now. And so what that's going to do is they're going to start moving towards this point, and if there's any enemy units within firing range they encounter along the way, like these guys over here that are retreating, it would actually fire on them. And now that there's no more enemy units within its range, it's going to go ahead and keep moving towards that location that I've sent it to. So far things are looking okay, I guess. Considering I'm multitasking and I suck at multitasking, I'm going to see if I can get this fuel point. And my shock troops are over here, so I'm going to see if I can help out on this side a little bit. And now is probably a good time for me to start getting some of my buildings up so that I can spawn in more units. Now there's a sniper in this building here, so I'm going to go ahead and throw a Molotov cocktail in there, and that'll hopefully burn them out. That unit's also coming under attack and it's low on health, so I'm going to go ahead and retreat it. And let me show you with these shock troops, once their health is down, how you would retreat in order to preserve that unit and keep its veterancy. Down to 5 units, but I'm still doing pretty good though, so I'm not going to retreat them just yet. I'll take that fuel point while I'm over there. Let's send in a second mortar squad, and I'm going to again probably just keep it close to that other one and try to make my way towards that middle point because they seem to be hitting it pretty hard. You can only build base structures with most of the factions within the immediate area surrounding your base. So here's my shock troops. As I was saying, they're coming under attack, and it's looking like I might need to retreat them. So when the time comes to retreat, the default button for retreat is just the T key on your keyboard. I'm going to go ahead and hit that. And what the retreat function does is it sends them running back towards your base, or a set rally point. You can actually set a rally point with some factions, but that's another advanced feature I'll show you later. And the unit is going to go running towards its retreat point, and it's important to retreat because not only will it get your unit out of harm's way, but it also gets it back to your home base in the fastest fashion possible, so you can reinforce that squad and send it back out into active combat versus just having it walk all the way back to your base. So all that squad is reinforcing. Let's go ahead and get some more buildings up. This building will give me access to a light tank, an assault gun, and a half-track. So that should be helpful to have. I'm going to keep an eye on my mortar squads and make sure there's no infantry coming up to try and do them harm. So far so good. My shock troops are reinforced, so let's go ahead and send those in. And I've got a threat to my mortar squad over here, so I'm going to go ahead and retreat them because I'd rather get them out of harm's way than risk losing them. And it looks like he's just going for my mortar squad, so I got to retreat, unfortunately. And now that they've got vehicles on the field, let's go ahead and upgrade my conscripts with an additional special ability. So now they'll be able to throw anti-tank grenades should the need arise. And now I've got this new base up, I'm going to go ahead and spawn in a light tank. And I'm going to just keep pushing this middle victory point. And right now you can see we've got 460 victory points, they have 451. So things are pretty close right now, I'd say. These mortar squads are out of harm's way, so let's send them back over. And my conscript squad is starting to get low on members, so I'm going to try and take this point, but if it doesn't look like I can do it safely, then I'll just go ahead and retreat them. Now, going back to the veterancy thing that I was talking about earlier, if you look above them in the quick reference panel over here or over the unit, they've got these 2 stars, and that's referring to their veterancy level. You can have up to a level 3 veterancy, with an exception to the Oberg Commando West faction that has 5 levels of veterancy. But what veterancy does is it unlocks some special abilities on that infantry squad or armor unit, or any unit for that matter. It'll unlock some special abilities, give you an attack bonus and a defense bonus. So it's really important for you to try and maintain that. If your entire squad gets wiped out, you lose that veterancy, you lose those benefits, and then you have to start out from scratch with a new squad, which is kind of a pain in the butt. So we just want to keep a close eye on things, and it's hard to keep an eye on every single unit all the time. So your best friend is going to be this quick reference panel up here. And now that I've got that point captured, I'm going to play it safe and just get those guys back to my base so that I can reinforce them. It looks like my shock troops are in active combat, but there doesn't seem to be a real threat so far, so far so good. My light tank is now ready to go, so I'm going to send it over here to kind of guard this middle victory point. And I just walked all over those mines that they had set up on that middle victory point, so I'm going to go ahead and send them back so that I can get them reinforced. And marching onwards. Let's see, I'm going to crack my luck at this victory point over here and see if I can somehow grab it. Looks like they're starting to make their way towards that middle victory point. And they had an anti-tank mine right there, those sons of guns. So, no more light tank. That was kind of a waste. Now I've got the resources to bring in the fun stuff, like the Katyusha rocket truck, the T-34 tank, and the Su-85 medium tank destroyer, all of which will be very useful to have coming up here shortly. So let's go ahead and reinforce these squads. It looks like we have all 3 victory points, which is making their counter go down at the quickest rate possible, and while keeping us from losing any of our victory points. So very impressive, so far so good. Let's see if we can get back to the middle here, because it looks like they're going to go for that. They're probably remining it as I speak. And once my, speak of the devil, I was just going to say, once my combat engineers have that new building up, let's send them over there and sweep for mines. Now the engineers by themselves can't sweep for mines, it's an upgrade. The hazard removal package, it costs 30 munitions, so I'm going to upgrade them with that, and then they will be able to go through here and detect and disarm any mines they happen to run across. And now that I have this building up, I can spawn in new special units. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn in a Katyusha rocket truck, and I'll show you how awesome that unit is in just a moment here. And just as I predicted, they are sending units towards that middle victory point in an effort to take it, and I'm not going to let them do so. And it looks like they're also trying to set up mines, so I'm going to go ahead and mine sweep on my way over there. Okay, they've got a mortar team over here, so I'm going to send my shock troops over there and see if I can take them out and help my teammates out a little bit. And let's see, that Katyusha rocket truck should be up any minute now. Now, because we are playing against the Germans, it's pretty much inevitable that they're going to have tanks rolling in at some point in the game. And so, in an effort to be ready for that, it's probably a smart idea for me to get a medium tank destroyer on the field to take out any tanks they might be bringing in. So we'll have our Su-85 go into production. Looks like they're retreating all those units. I'm going to use my grenade special ability with my shock troops. As you can see right there, it's showing me it's going to cost 30 munitions, but I also just took out half their squad with that, so I'd say that was 30 munitions well spent. I could also throw a smoke grenade if I felt the need to. And they're pinned down now, as you can see, so they can't fire on the enemy, and they're not doing any good there. So I'm going to go ahead and retreat them. There's that tank that I was telling you about that's always inevitable. Oh, I've got an Ostwind walking by, so I'm going to go ahead and throw that anti-tank grenade that I upgraded my conscripts with a little bit earlier. And let's get that tank destroyer up to the front line so I can start taking out some tanks. Oh, it looks like he's actually going after my mortar teams. So that's not going to fly. Now the Katyusha rocket truck has a very long range, so I'm going to go ahead and fire that. And let's see if I can get closer to this Ostwind. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to, so I'm going to retreat those guys at the last possible moment. And look at my Katyusha raining down rockets on that field point, doing just what I wanted it to do. Where's my Su-85? He's coming around. Regardless, I'm going to retreat those mortar teams, and now I've got my tank destroyer firing on that Panzer. Very good. Oh, I almost have him killed. That just takes one more hit. I gotta keep him in my sight. I got this. Come on, come on. I want that tank. Come on, just kill it. Kill it already. What am I paying you for? He just missed like 4 times. Did you see that? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So let's go after this Ostwind then, I guess, for now. And I've got a bunch of infantry here that all need healing and reinforcing, so we'll get all of that on the ball. Alright, I just need to put one more round into that Ostwind and then he's done. Alright, he's done. Let's get back. Tank destroyers are only good against tanks. They don't really have any anti-infantry capabilities in this game, so we'll try and keep him out of harm's way the best we can. Let's move all my infantry back up to the front line, and my Katyusha is just about recharged and ready for a new rocket barrage. So it looks like they're going to attempt to flank, and that's not going to fly. I'm tempted to send some rockets in, but I'm also saving it for a later time. What do we do? I guess we'll move them over here for now.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
Okay, now they're sending infantry with rockets after my tank destroyer, so let's get that out of there before it's too late.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
And they did take that middle victory point, so let's go take that back. We're going to attack and move up to it. And I've got my mortars also firing and helping out along the way there. And now that my Katyusha is recharged, let's go ahead and fire that off. I just need a good target that's not going to move so that I'm not wasting rockets. This mortar squad right here looks like a prime candidate, so we're going to just move that little reticule over it and left click, and off my rockets go. And my Katyusha will fire those rockets off, and boom, 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 that mortar squad should be retreating or killed. Just as planned. Let's spawn in a tank, just for demonstration purposes. The Soviet tanks aren't particularly powerful, but they get the job done. They actually, I guess that's not true. They do. There is more powerful tanks like the KV-2, KV-1, the IS-2 that we can spawn in if we had chosen that commander, but we didn't, unfortunately. So this is what we've got to work with. And I'm gonna go ahead and spawn in one more Katyusha, so I don't have to wait forever for this one to keep recharging. I'll have 2 of them to work with. Okay, that point's captured. Let's help our teammate out and try to come around.
Ready for combat.
Here's my T-34 tank. I'm going to attack move him there to the center to kind of overwatch my mortar squads. And looks like they've got a tank destroyer over here, so what could be a funner battle than a tank destroyer against a tank destroyer? Well, it would appear that they have that Panzer back up and going that I almost took out earlier. Yes, you can repair your vehicles in this game. That's how, that's the name of this game, really, is healing your units and repairing your vehicles. Its rear armor is the weakest, so I'm at an advantage right here. I just have to get up to him and put around right in his back and keep doing that. These guys are not doing so well, so I better retreat them, get them the heck out of there. And one more round in the back should kill him. And looks like they've got an anti-tank gun coming up right there. And so let's go ahead and give myself some aerial support. This costs 180 munitions, so it's not something we just do every 5 seconds, but I've got quite a bit of resources right now, so I'm going to go ahead and use that to my advantage. Okay, they're sending that Panzer over here. I'm going to try and keep my front facing towards him. I guess that's something else I should cover too, is facing. You just hold the right mouse button and point it in the direction you want to go, and it'll automatically face your unit, be it infantry or vehicle, in that direction. And these guys just took me out, so let's move my Katyusha rocket trucks up, and I'm going to reinforce all my squads. But it doesn't look like I even need to, because our victory is inevitable at this point. And just for a final showdown, I'm going to do a nice barrage of rockets on these anti-tank guns over here. And just completely wipe them out and eliminate what they thought they had left. You can also see their units veterancy too, which is helpful. If you've got a unit with less veterancy, you'll know that you're in a bad situation and you need to get out of there. So there you have it. Pretty basic. A lot of the stuff is self-explanatory, but in this game mode your main objective was to keep as many of those control points as possible. And those little crate boxes you see flying down at the end, that's stuff you unlock for playing. This guy just unlocked 2 new intel bulletins, so you can get new intel bulletins and new commanders as rewards at the end of a match. So, and it doesn't matter if you're victorious or not, it just kind of awards them randomly. So these little stars you see by the player names, such as mine, are prestige ranks, and that just means we've hit level 100, and that's reset us back to 0. And so I guess technically I'm a level 171, or this guy is technically a level 258, or however you want to look at it. So I think that covers all the basics. So thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and I'm going to upload more videos in the future where we get into the more detailed stuff, and I'll share some of my strategies with you guys. So thanks for watching, and have a good one.